So up next on the show, we're going to have Dr. Sanchez come and talk about Hitler. She worked with Dr. Theo Morell, who was Hitler's primary physician. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So, what's the deal with Hitler? I heard he was like on more drugs than Keith Richards.
Yeah, I heard he was mental.
Well, it's much more than that. The primary diagnosis that Dr. Morell and I gave him was schizophreniform.
Schizophrenia what?
Well, in order to be diagnosed with it, you must meet A, D, and E of the schizophrenia criteria, which means you need 2 out of the 5 in criteria A. And he meets delusions of grandeur and hallucinations. Once he heard Germany's surrender in World War I, he claimed to have a blindness occur, and he heard the voice of Joan of Arc, who summoned him to save Germany from the Jews because they violated her. For his hallucination, he saw a nurse who represented Mother Germany, and the nurse was holding a soldier. And Herzberger, the German who signed the surrender, was born as a Jew. For criteria D, schizoaffected and mood disorder must be excluded. While homeless, he was depressed, but not defined as abnormal.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Nick. Also, for criteria E, substance general medical conditions must be excluded. He did become dependent on drugs the last 3 years of his life, but the first episodes of the hallucinations were while he was drug-free.
Do you wake up?
So like, why was it schizophreniform and not something like, like schizophrenia?
Well, Hitler only suffered for a brief period of time, and with schizophrenia, you need to suffer at least 6 months.
Well, if it was such a short period of time, why wasn't he diagnosed as brief psychotic disorder? I also heard something about him having a big fear of syphilis.
It could, but if it were a brief psychotic disorder, it would be under a month, and Hitler suffered for about a month and a half. Also, while he was diagnosed, he was also diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder. Yeah. As for the syphilis, nothing has been documented, but he shows signs of specific phobia with fear of disease.
Yeah, well, like, I also heard that he had borderline narcissistic and paranoid personality disorders. My dad subscribes to Time.
Well, Hitler had little to no remorse and had a cold rationality towards all of his actions. He was also incredibly aggressive, reckless, irresponsible, and deceitful, and couldn't conform to the social norms of authority.
Sounds like Glenn, the manager from Nikita's Donuts.
I heard that when Hitler was young as a kid, he, did bad stuff to animals?
Conduct disorder states that he had to portray these attributes before the age of 18. His antisocial tendencies had to happen outside of schizophrenic or manic episodes. So basically, he was in the right mind during his actions.
So basically, Pete was wrong when he said that they had narcissistic, borderline, and personality disorder, right?
Well, not necessarily, Nick. But those would be a differential diagnosis.
So then he was right about those things?
Sort of. He was thought to have paranoid personality disorder because he believed that the Jews were trying to keep the German people down and without power.
Oh, so then he was wrong about the narcissistic and borderline. Gotcha.
Nick, a lot of these diagnoses sound like you.
Well, that's all the time we have for Dr. Sanchez. Thanks for coming out. You have a good day there.
See you later.
Pete, didn't we bring out Hitler now?
Excellent.
Excellent. All right.
Mr. Hitler, you mind if we call you 80?
I think that's no.
Mr. Hitler, your doctor was just here. He kind of told us some of your health problems.
Yeah, I have the occasional aching tummy.
Maybe it's because you never ate meat.
Ate meat as a diet to help my stomach problems.
Obviously, it wasn't to save lives.
Yeah, Thanks to Dr. Mel and Dr. Sanchez, I no longer have to worry about on a vegetarian diet due to the medication they put me on.
You mean the same doctor that put you on 80 medications over 3 years?
Yeah, they gave me medication because I have a lot of hypertension and ears and respiratory problems.
Are you okay, dude?
Yeah, recently been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
Ring. Yeah, hi. My question is for Mr. Hitler.
Yeah,
I heard that you don't really have Parkinson's. It's all the amphetamines that you take.
I am very stable.
I recently read a book by David Irving about your stability, and I quote, "Constant medication over a period of years may have upset the physiological balance of his body to such an extent that even normally harmless drugs would be relied on. Thus, a person may become addicted to such medication even though the substances employed are not drugs of habit-forming nature."
I'm not heavily medicated anymore.
Whoa, dude, calm down. We just got one more question for you.
Do you have syphilis?
No, guys, I'm not having a syphilis like those impure people. No, guys, don't be that.
Whoa! Get him, Nick! Oh, man. Those karate lessons are really paying off, huh?
Thank you.
Alright, well that's about all the time we have for this show. But before we go, we'd like to give Hitler our GAF rating. We gave Hitler about a 9, which would be a persistent danger of severely hurting himself or others, or persistent inability to maintain minimal personal hygiene, or serious suicidal act with clear expectation of death.
Did you ever see that episode of the
Whoa,
Twilight
whoa, Nick. We don't have time for that, okay?
Alright.
Alright, well, till next week. Party on, Nick.
Party on, Pete. Excellent. It's Pete's World! Pete's World!